Hey everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4 Noob 2 Expert tutorial where we are about to attack Russia. Before we do that, unfortunately, we have to talk about a couple of things. So, we have already fortified our lines a little bit up here, our coastline, so if they start a naval invasion, we can probably push them back into the sea, hopefully. Hopefully, I've just taken a few troops out, you can see they are red, and put them on the front line again because we need more troops there. But we also still have this navy over here. Navy. Let's talk about Navy. Navy is a big topic. So for now, what you need to know is there is two straits here. There's the Kiel Canal, the Kaiser Wilhelm Canal, the historic term. And there is the Danish Belts up here. These, well, naval straits, basically. It depends on if you're at war or not, if you can pass through this. So currently you can see armies can pass, yes, navies can pass, yes, submarines can pass, trade can pass. All good. If we were at war with Denmark, these would be closed off to us, and we don't want that to happen. So we need our navy to get them into the Baltic so that we don't need to move to those straits all the time. We are currently in a nice port here. Weser Ems has a capacity of 80, and we're currently using 33 of that, with the 39 ships we have in here. So let's find something that's 40 or better. Schleswig-Holstein is 80. That's the home port of Kiel. That's the area where I live. So yeah, that's where we're gonna go. How do you move them over here? You can see it. Right-click to move to that naval base. Control right-click to set as home base. And click to select fleets with this home base. Well, there's nobody here with this home base. If I click on this, nothing happens. So control right-click. And you see up here this change to Schleswig-Holstein, which is the state up here. That one. Which has this port. Right, so now the navy should start moving over there. And we're also already going to give them an order. You see we have 5 orders on the top screen here. If you have a navy, Scott, just click on your navy for once.
Yep, I did it.
Right, so then you see on the very top below your flag, you have 5 different orders currently. You should probably have the anchor selected. Right?
Yeah.
Good. It's in port, it's not doing anything, it's just on hold. So let's go through the others. You have patrol, search and destroy, convoy raiding, and convoy escort.
Yep.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click convoy escort, and then I have to select a naval area, basically. So I want the Baltic Sea. Right-click to add region, shift right-click to remove region, control right-click to cancel mission and move to location. Yeah, we just want to right-click, and you see now all of this territory is selected, and the Navy is going through the channel, as you can see here, to start the operation. Now what do they do when they do convoy escort? They are basically escorting my convoys and make sure that my convoys with my resources and my troops don't get sunk. What I actually do want is convoy raiding, so I'm just going to switch over here, because these convoy raiding means that they will attack any enemy convoy they see. And obviously, if the enemy is planning a naval invasion, the enemy will need convoys to ferry over the troops. So we might be able to sink all those feisty tank divisions before they can even be on land and do damage. Now, that's what we're going to do with all our navy. We don't really have much of a navy, but that will suffice. We also have no commander, we're going to change that. We're going to give them a good one, sort by skill. Submarine attack, that would be good because we have a lot of submarines. Retreat decision chance, fleet speed while retreating, it's also not too bad. That's bad. Number of ships in first contact, that is good to have. And there's a lot of things that we're not going to talk about right now, and probably never will, because we're playing Germany, we will never have a big navy. But I guess I will touch on that as soon as we go to war with the UK and actually need to talk about navies. So I'm just going to select the highest level admiral we have here, because as you can see, same as the generals and fleet marshals, that would just give us a bonus on naval hit chance and fleet coordination, which is good. Now there's a lot of other buttons in here, we're just going to quickly go through them. So on your right hand panel you obviously have a split, a delete and a deselect. Well, you can split the navy in half and just make it 2 navies. You can delete all of the navy, which would be stupid, why would you ever want to do that? Below that you have your repair priorities. Currently it's high, so whenever you suffer minimal damage, the fleet will go home to repair. That is when you're vulnerable, because as soon as they are in port and repair, there's nothing here to actually do convoy raiding, even though it says convoy raiding. So you have a window of vulnerability here. To prevent that, you can either set it to medium priority, which I'm going to do, Or below that, you can click on automatic split off, which means you have 100 ships, 3 get damaged, those 3 will split off from the Navy, leaving the other 97 to fight while they travel home. They could be attacked on the way and could get sunk. So that is something you don't really want to do. But it might be the only thing that helps you in staying alive here, so it might be something to consider. And I might do that at some stage. Current engagement rule below that, fire at will. You can change that to do not engage. Well, yeah. We just, fire at will. Why wouldn't we? You can say repair now, and you can say never repair. Both are bad because they're currently not damaged, so why would I say repair now? That just sends them support, and never repair. Well, that's how you lose your ships. You don't really want that. I have 2 battleships, 3 heavy cruisers, 6 light cruisers, 13 destroyers, and 15 submarines. I'm going to take the submarines. Right-click to generate new fleet. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select all submarines, and now I have a new fleet. I'm going to rename that to U-boats. And there actually needs to be a dash in between here. U-boat is short for Unterseeboot, which is submarine boat. Literally translated, in case you ever wondered. There you go. Going to give them a good commander. Actually, I should use this one, because that's the submarine guy. So I'm going to scroll all the way down. The used ones are at the bottom. Going to select that guy. Going to again reassign, and you will get somebody else. Yeah, that guy. And then I'm going to select this fleet, and they are currently stationed in port, which is okay. I'm going to tell you to pick a different port, just because I can. That's 50, that's 10, it's not enough. 40, 60. Now you stay, you go over here. Control right click, Ostpreußen, and you will go, could go search and destroy, or patrol. What's the difference? Patrol says formation spread 160%, very wide, and search and destroy is 50% tight. Rule of thumb. Both do the same thing. They search actively for the enemy and engage it. The more widespread your fleet is, the less ships you will have in the first contact. So you can have 100 ships, the enemy can have 50 ships, but only 25 of your ships will actually sight the enemy ships, and you have to wait for your reinforcements to arrive. So those 25 could get sunk because the enemy has a 2-to-1 advantage, and then the rest arrives, and you just lose your ships. So, rule of thumb, whenever you have the larger navy, you go patrol, because you can afford to have a wider spread. Whenever you have the smaller navy, you go search and destroy, because more ships in first contact means you can do more damage within the first couple of seconds, and you're less likely to lose your ships. Downside on search and destroy is you can't cover as much area in the same moment, so you might have navies slipping past you. But yeah, these are going to go search and destroy, and we're just gonna go and attack the enemy and see if that helps. Probably not. Submarines are very good for convoy raiding, though. Actually, yeah, you know what? We just leave them in convoy raiding. That's good. And our main fleet is going to go search and destroy. That's better. I like it. Alright, that's the Navy taken care of. Now let's talk about the Air Force, because we're going to attack. We need air support. Something we haven't talked about yet. We do have some fighters, some close air support, some naval bombers, some tactical bombers. I'm not going to go into all those differences yet. I'm just going to show you how to use them. You find an airport. There's one. 600 airplanes. That's 1,000 airplanes. 600, 200. So we're going to use those up here. Is there anyone down here? Yeah, 600 here. 9 used by Italy. Look at that. Gonna click on that, you get an empty window, and the map switches to airplane mode. Or, yeah, to what is it? Strategic air map mode. That's the one. So air map mode and sea or naval map mode works a little different. You can see that there are different borders drawn on the territory. This right here, the Ukraine, is one air zone. If you go back into default map mode in your land map mode, you have different states and provinces and all of that. And then you still have your supply map mode with supply areas. We've had that before. I'm not going to go through that again. It's confusing as it is. So let's assign some planes. We have Stanislavov, which is the airport. There is still Well, not that much room, so we're not going to use that. Let's use another one. Up here, 1,000. Let's add some. Let's add an air wing. First of all, we have to select, do we want fighters, fighters, bombers, tactical bombers, transport planes, close air support, all the stuff. First of all, we want a fighters. 2 buttons here. Move 1, move 10, move 100, or move all. So we're just going to do shift click to move 100. Now we have one air wing created with 100 fighters. Now up here, where you actually have the fighter icon, you can do a couple of things. First of all, it tells you we have 100 selected, and the maximum capacity for this air wing is 100, because that's what we set it to. If we click on that, we can actually set it to more. So if we go plus 100 and say set limit, then it will say I have 100, I'm set to go to 200. So these 100 will deploy, and as soon as they are deployed, they will try to reinforce to 200 with the available fighters that we have. That can be any type of fighter. You see that the bombers are now all grayed out, but all the other fighters we have, doesn't matter which type, doesn't matter how good, are still active. So it could reinforce with like 40 of the interwar fighters. It will usually use the best ones first, but once you run out of those, it will use all the others available as well. Downside is, obviously, well, the old fighters don't have the range and all of that. So, yeah, you might get crappy fighters in there and you lose efficiency a little bit. Alright, we can put up to 1,000 up here, so why don't we just increase that all a little bit and say, okay, 200, let's say 300. And then we are going to select this airport, and we're going to say, let's put in, not 70, let's increase that to 300. That's good. And let's do the same down here. Yep. 300. Alright. Now it says deploying. If I hover over this, it tells me they will deploy expected arrival 11 AM 3rd of July. That is, what, 5 days from now. That's okay. Still have 16 days until we declare war, so they will be here. So now these airports are filled with some craft. You can see them here. You can click on them, and now you can give them orders. There's a couple of orders up in the top here. You have aircrafts deployed, right? Those 233.
Yes.
If you click on those, or click on the airport, it doesn't really matter. Any way to get to them.
Yep.
Then you have on the top left below your flag, you should have all the different order buttons.
Yes.
Good,
Yes,
so
yes.
let's go through them. Let's start from the right. There's X. Well, X is closed, so we're not going to go for that. The next two are relatively important. Missions are executed day and night. You can cycle through day, night, and both. We're going to leave them on both. And the next, to the left of that, the fist, is a no retreat. I usually just click that once to normal operations, which means only fly missions if wings are at least at 25% strength. Otherwise, your whole air wing might get deleted and not refill, because once it's gone, it's gone. And you don't really want that. You do want to have at least some in there, so they will only start, like if you have 200 fighters in there, they will only start if there's at least 50 fighters left. You know, why would you want to throw like 8 fighters at the enemy when they come with 1,000? It's not worth it, you're just gonna lose them. So that's good to have. You can switch that up to low intensity, 50% strength, or just no retreat, fight to the last, well, last air ace, or whatever. And to the left of that, you have a lot of buttons. Some are lit up, some are not, right?
Yes.
Good, so depending on what you have selected, I have fighters selected, I can do 2 things. Let's start on the very left. Air superiority. This is what you usually want to select, because that just gives you air superiority over a region. If you don't know what air superiority is, go study World War II, because, you know, that's really important. This is your main goal. If you have air superiority, you give the enemy a malus on whatever they do. And it is also needed later in the game. You need 75% air superiority to actually deploy nuclear weapons. If you don't have it, you can't do it. It's also needed for paratroopers. If you don't have air superiority, you can't land your paratroopers. Which we're not going to get to yet. Now thing. We'll see. Next one is close air support. For that, you actually need close air support and not fighters. So we can't do that. What that does is whenever you're in combat, they will attack the enemy that's facing you and will deplete their organization. So you will push them back faster. That's how that works. Then you have interception, which works for fighters. That is shoot down bombers. before they can bomb your territory. Bombing is bad. If the enemy bombs your territory, well, it could be close air support bombing your troops, it could be tactical bombers bombing your troops or ships, it could be naval bombers bombing your ships, or it could be strategic bombers bombing your factories. And if your factories are not there, if they're damaged, they can't produce guns and you can't fight your land war. So that's good to have, but honestly, air superiority usually does the trick. Strategic bombing, bomb enemy buildings, infrastructure, and industry, says it right there. That's what I just mentioned. Naval strike, attack enemy ships. If you have naval bombers, you know, swordfish torpedo bombers and stuff like that, these are pretty much OP. If you deploy naval bombers in the Baltic Sea, you can make sure that no naval invasion is happening if you have enough of them. You just shoot down all the enemy ships and convoys. It's amazing, and they are a little overpowered. And by a little, I mean a lot. And they just work and do their thing. We're going to do that in a second. Then you have Kamikaze Strike. You have to enable that. If you're Japan, you have a focus item that actually gives you that. Obviously, Kamikaze, you will lose your fighter, but you will do a tremendous amount of damage. And Port Strike. Bomb enemy fleets in port. As soon as your fleet is going home for repair, you can just bomb the crap out of them. That's also quite nice, but you need tactical bombers or strategic bombers for that. Right, so I'm going to set mine to air superiority, all of these, and I actually have to tell them where to go. So click on the enemy fighters and then right click on an air region, and you will see a little circle saying 300 fighters deployed here. I'm going to take these, I'm going to deploy them down here in the Ukraine. Can I do that? Whenever you hear a weird click, you're out of range. I mean, it shows you on the map pretty nicely now. It didn't do that earlier, before the last DLC, but you know, that's how it works. Otherwise you hear an engine fire up. That means, okay, we're going there. That's good. So, do this. If you forget to give them an order, it will tell you in a alert pop-up on the top of your screen saying there are air wings with no missions assigned. So that's also good to know. And you also are going to Ukraine. Alright, so, naval bombers. Let's deploy some of those. Somewhere central, like here. 600? Alright. Not gonna mess around, we're just gonna take all of them. Where are they? I know I have some there. All 72. Alright. Should be good. And say naval strike, and you see the engagement radius they have. We're just gonna say here in the Baltic Sea. Have fun, knock yourself out, make sure that no enemy convoys reach my territory. Perfect. Alright, let's run the game a little and see what happens. I'm gonna distribute some power. What am I going to do? Material designer just gives research time, don't really need that. No, we want to produce stuff, right? So we're going to go for war industrialist for all the military factories. Amelia Earhart disappears. One of those random events. It can go right and it can go wrong. We're going historical focus, so it always goes wrong. That's just how it is. Research. Let's do some research. Also, you see that this green bar fills up under research. You have, when you hover over it, 9 days out of 30 days saved. So up to 30 days you can research nothing, and you will just get this 30 days as a bonus that will be applied immediately to your research once you actually start. Recovery rate, no, no. Support companies, soft attack organization, yep, this road. That's what we're gonna do. Thank you. What else? Planes and reserves, yeah, we could still do more on that. Not that low on resource, that's good. And we're producing total artillery, which we're not putting anywhere, it seems. So, let's put them somewhere. Let's put them to the tanks. Why not? We don't have enough army experience to do that. No, bummer. Well, that just means if we don't have them right now, we reduce them to one factory to not lose our production efficiency, and just these factories will be assigned somewhere else. In this case, guns. And stop. The Munich Conference. Talks have been held in Munich between the leaders of Germany, Britain, France, Italy to discuss the future of Czechoslovakia. You can read that, you don't have to, just hover over the button, tell you what it does. Sudetenland is now a core by Germany and becomes owner and controller. You do this and it's ours. Where is it? There, all this territory is now ours. Italian Foreign Office in Yugoslavia, so you just befriended those, that's nice. Leadership purchase in the Soviet Union, this is what we are looking for. So let me select the focus here real quick. Could go down here and get Hungary and all of that. That might be a good idea. I could demand Slovenia. What does that do? Treaty of Saint-Germain-et-Enlaye? Enlaye? Oh god, my French. It's better than my Russian, because my Russian doesn't exist. The historic provinces of Garniola and Styria, which are now known as Slovenia, must be brought home. Yeah, that could be an idea. We could do that, and just demand that. Probably some more factories in there, or we just go over here and do some industrial effort. 2, 4, 6 factories and a construction research bonus. That's good. And the same again. That's good. Don't really get military factories. We've established that already. So yeah, let's do this. That probably helps in the long run. How are we doing on production anyway? We've done all the infrastructure. We've done all the repairing. That looks good. So we're not. What? We're just gonna go now and produce military factories. Jeez. English much? English? Can we deploy more troops? Do we have the guns? No, we do not, so we just let them train for a while. 14 days shortage on guns. Now that will skyrocket in a second. Really? Almost 3/4 of a year for tanks? We can't really afford that. So, let's scale down in training tanks, like these. Yes, thank you. Let's only do 2. And let's scale down in infantry a little bit. Let's say... Yes, I do. Let's say 6. How did that change things? Guns, 2 days. Light tanks, 220 days. And 30 days in support equipment. That's better. And we're short on fighters, because we've put too many fighters in those air wings, but that's good. That's okay. Right? Yeah. See, they're up to 296 here and up to 159 there. That's all the fighters we have. And we wanted 300 in each, so we're short in total 145. That's what this tells us. That's okay. We can live with that. Still have some bombers which we're not using currently. Probably should change that as well. So, let's see. Do we have close air support? Yes, we do. Those and those. Not producing any, so might as well take them as they are. Schlachtgeschwader, that sounds good. Gonna put them down here where the tanks are attacking, and we're gonna tell them to attack enemy tanks. Close air support, there you go. And no, you can actually go and no retreat, because we're not producing them, might as well use all of them and not going to reinforce them. Right. You ready for this war?
I is ready.
You have a crap ton of troops in your home territory that you're not using. I detest that. Oh, now I see your battle line. There's 2 divisions attached to that battle line. That's great.
Oh,
Yeah. How about, I don't know, all of them? I mean, Russia might try to get through the Bosphorus, you know, the strait in Istanbul, to try a landing on Italy. So you might want to leave, let's say, your horses and mountaineers at home, but, you know, send the rest. It would really be much appreciated. I need everybody here.
Trying.
That's 130 troops facing my... How many do I have here? That's 59, and that's another 11, so I have 70. Yeah. Don't make the front line too long, just, you know, focus on the southern part, because you will have to drive through there all the way to the other side of Turkey. I'm gonna take the northern part. Alright, but while you do that, I'm gonna tell the people goodbye, and we see them back in the next episode when we go to a full-scale war against the Soviet Union. The bear will be attacked by the Italian SS, and I'm probably getting in trouble for saying that just because I'm German. For those in the stream, don't go anywhere, we'll continue straight away. For those watching the video, that's it for this episode. Don't forget to justify a subscriber goal, and also blitzkrieg the like button severely with everything you've got. Not twice, you know, that cancels each other out. Don't do that. Follow me on Twitter if you want to catch the next live stream. I am Scryptar, he is Scott. This is what's going to soon be German territory, and you are, well, dismissed. Bye-bye.